Implementing DevOps with Azure. In this video, we look at the services offered by Azure DevOps. According to the official documentation, Azure DevOps is a cloud service for collaborating on code development. It provides an integrated set of features that you access through your web browser or IDE client. Here are some of the important features of Azure DevOps service. It provides Git repositories for source control of your code. Its build and release services support continuous integration and delivery of your apps. Agile tools are provided to support planning and tracking your work, code defects, and issues using Kanban and Scrum methods. Many tools are available to test your apps, including manual and exploratory testing, load testing, and continuous testing. Highly customizable dashboards for sharing progress and trends, built-in wiki for sharing information with your team, and it provides support for adding extensions and integrating with other popular services such as Campfire, Slack, Trello, User Voice, and more. And you can also, of course, develop your own custom extensions. Now let's move on to the most important question. Why should we use Azure DevOps services? The features that make Azure DevOps stand out from others are really as follows. First of all, it's enterprise ready. The features that you want delivered in a scalable, reliable, globally available hosted manner. That's really important. It supports teams of any size from tens to tens of thousands. And it's backed by a 99.9% SLA and fully monitored by Microsoft all day. So every day, operations are fully covered, and it's available in local data centers around the world. Next, we have Azure Active Directory integration. It uses common identity to access both cloud and on-prem resources. It also establishes and enforces password lifetime and complexity controls, and enables additional security features like multi-factor authentication. One special feature to consider is secure by design. Nowadays, securing data and source is really our highest priority. Core Azure services provide a secure foundation for this. Multi-layered security and governance technologies, operational practices, and compliance policies keep your data locked down. ISO 27001, SOC 1, and SOC 2 compliance certifications demonstrate their commitment to customers. A lot of customers simply can't operate without these certifications. Finally, Azure DevOps is maintenance-free, has easy collaboration across domains, and will scale elastically, so it will grow with your business. The services that Azure DevOps consists of are 6 in the main: Azure Boards, Azure Pipelines, Azure Repos, Azure Test Plans, Azure Artifacts, and the Extensions Marketplace. Let's dig a bit deeper into each of these. First is Azure Boards. Azure Boards helps you plan, track, and discuss work across your teams. It tracks all of your ideas at every development stage and keeps your team aligned with all code changes linked directly to work items. It's Scrum ready. You can use built-in Scrum boards and planning tools to help your teams run sprints, stand-up, and planning meetings. It's built for insights. It gains new insights into the health and status of your project with powerful analytics tools and dashboard widgets, all of which are extremely useful to keep on top of progress. Next, we look at Azure Pipelines. Using Azure Pipelines, you can continuously build, test, and deploy to any platform and cloud. Some of the unique features of Azure Pipelines are shown here. To start with, any language, any platform. So you can build, test, and deploy Node.js, Python, Java, PHP, Ruby, Android, .NET, and iOS apps. Everything, in fact. And they can all run in parallel on Linux, macOS, and Windows. Next, we have containers and Kubernetes. You can easily build and push images to container registries like Docker Hub and Azure Container Registry, deploy containers to individual hosts, or Kubernetes itself. Extensible framework. You can explore and implement a wide range of community-built solid test and deployment tasks, along with hundreds of extensions from Slack to SonarCloud. You can deploy to any cloud. You can implement continuous delivery of your software to any cloud, including Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud Platform. You're not locked in. That's really important. You can visualize deployment to any number of interdependent stages as well. Azure is best in class for open source projects. It includes fast continuous integration and continuous delivery. The pipelines are available for every open source project. Azure offers 10 free parallel jobs with unlimited build minutes for all open source projects. So if you're involved in open source, it's well worth getting stuck in there. Finally, it has many advanced workflows and features. Take advantage of easy build chaining and multi-phase builds. There's support for YAML, test integration, release gates, and reporting, and much more useful tooling beyond. Let's look at Azure Source Repositories next. Through Azure Repos, you get unlimited cloud-based private Git repos for your project. By using Azure Repos, you get support for any Git client. It securely connects with and allows you to push code into your Git repos from any IDE, editor, or Git client. Webhooks and API integration. These add validations and extensions from the marketplace, or indeed you can build your own webhooks and REST APIs. And finally, the semantic code search. It quickly finds what you're looking for with code-aware search, which understands classes and variables. Azure Test Plans provide you with planned and exploratory testing solutions. Through Azure Test Plans, you can capture rich data. This means that it captures the rich and detailed semantic data as you execute tests to make discovered defects actionable and stops you looking into the usual black box to find out what went wrong. You can test across web and desktop. The plans can test your application by executing tests across both desktop or web apps. You get end-to-end traceability. So this takes advantage of the end-to-end traceability and quality for your stories and features. With Azure Artifacts, you can create, host, and share packages. This is critical for shared code and library version control. Shared code efficiently allows you to share code across both small teams and large enterprises. You can also manage all types of packages. Artifacts are not restricted to .NET produced items. You can get universal artifact management for Maven, NPM, and NuGet, for example. And finally, you can add packages to any pipeline. You can share packages and use built-in CI/CD versioning and testing. The extensions marketplace gives you a variety of plugins and extensions, such as AWS tools for Microsoft, Slack integration, and many more that you can integrate with your pipeline. Now, let's look at the different modules in Azure DevOps. First, the dashboards. From dashboards, you gain access to user-configurable dashboards. In this, you can add, configure, and manage dashboards, configure widgets that you add to dashboards, and quickly navigate to different areas of your project. From code, you gain access to your source control Git-based or TFVC repositories to support version control of your software projects. From Azure Repos for Git, you can review, download, and edit files, and review the change history for a file. Review and manage commits that have been pushed, and review, create, approve, comment on, and complete pull requests. You can also add and manage Git tags. The next module is plan and track work. From work, you can gain access to agile tools that support planning and tracking. You can add and update work items, define work item queries, create status and trend charts based on those queries, manage your product backlog, plan sprints by using sprint backlogs, and then review sprint tasks and update tasks through the task boards. And you can visualize the entire workflow and update the status by using Kanban boards. You can also manage portfolios by grouping stories under features and grouping features under epics. Azure Continuous Integration and Deployment Pipeline provides an integrated set of features to support building and deploying your applications. You use pipelines to implement continuous integration and continuous delivery. In build automation, you define the steps to take during build and the triggers that initiate that build. And in release management, it supports a rapid release cadence and management of simultaneous requests. You can configure release pipelines that represent your environments from development to production. Manual, exploratory, and load testing. The test features support manual and exploratory testing, load or performance testing, and continuous testing. With test features, you can gain access to the following features: customization of workflows with test plan, test suite, and test case work items, end-to-end traceability from requirements to test cases and bugs with requirement-based test suites, criteria-based test selection with query-based test suites, Excel-like interface with the grid for easy creation of test cases, reusable test steps and test data with shared steps and shared parameters, shareable test plans, test suites, and test cases for reviewing with stakeholders, browser-based test execution on any platform, and real-time charts for tracking test activity. Collaboration Services module works with the previously mentioned services to support team dashboards, project wiki, discussion within work item forms, linking of work items, commits, pull requests, and other artifacts, alerts and change notifications managed by user, team, project, or organization, ability to request and manage feedback, analytics service, analytic views, and Power BI reporting. Service hooks enable you to perform tasks on other services when events happen within your project hosted on Azure DevOps Services or TFS. For example, you can send a push notification to your team's mobile services when a build fails. Service hooks can also be used in custom apps and services as a more efficient way to drive activities when events happen in your projects. Cloud-hosted services that support your DevOps operations. There are a number of usage-based services that Azure includes to support you. These include Microsoft-hosted build and deployment agents, on-premises self-hosted agents to support build and deployment, and finally, cloud-based performance and load testing so you can load test your code by simulating high traffic. Administrative Services pulls everything together that you need to build and maintain a successful collaborative software development environment. This was a brief tour of the features and benefits of Azure DevOps. To finish up, let's see what others have to say about using Azure DevOps for mission-critical projects and systems. Jennifer Perrott, who's the Principal Group Program Manager at Skype, says, Azure DevOps enables the 1,000 engineers of Skype, distributed across 5 locations, to share code packages and work on a tech stack that spans Linux, Windows, iOS, and Android, with Java, JavaScript, C++, and C# and handles 2.5 million calls per day. Brad Engholt is a project manager at Tata, an organization that operates on a global scale. If you're looking for a hosting solution that is easy to manage, cost-effective, and always releasing new services that inspire new features, Microsoft Azure is a solution for you. Finally, Begoña Saz, who's Commercial General Manager at Real Madrid. We used to pull data from just 5 sources before, but now we pull from more than 70 sources using our Microsoft Cloud Platform. This has enabled us to grow our number of fan profiles by about 400% in the past 2 years. It's now in the millions.